Buenas and half a day, buenas tardes todos hamzu. Sa Diyos masay puri finatan minzo pago. Sen bonito na dia pago sa be who recogniza todo no bidon minzo. Net non e library, right? I don't know what library is in Chamorro, but that's about all the Chamorro I know. Half a day and good afternoon. I'm so very honored to be here and in front of you, the Guam Public Library System family, and with my colleagues, Senator Telo Taitugui, Senator Luis Borja Muña, and my Democrat colleagues are also with us in spirit. I'd like to read resolution number 212-35 as introduced by myself, Senator Luis Borja Muña, and Senator Telo Taitugui, and as endorsed by every member of the 35th Guam Legislature. We're here to commend, recognize, and honor two wonderful employees who have served our island and our public library system faithfully. The first resolution is relative to recognizing Mrs. Teresita Leon Guerrero Kennemer on the occasion of her retirement. You can clap. From the Guam Public Library System and commending her for 31 years of service to the island community. And if I could, I'd like to ask my colleagues to go ahead and read a couple paragraphs each so that the listening audience, the rest of the world, could know and understand what you've done to move our island forward. So they'll go ahead and alternate the different parts here.
Be it resolved by the Committee on Rules of Administrenta Cinco na Legislatura en Guahan, whereas Mrs. Teresita L.G. Kennemer hails from the village of Inalahan. She is married to her roommate, David Kennemer, and has a daughter, Elizabeth Ann L.G. Paredo. And whereas Teresita Kennemer graduated from George Washington High School in 1976, and in 1978 she began her public service career working at the Guam Museum, where she provided many distinctive contributions. And in 1988, she transitioned to serve at the Guam Public Library System as a library technician supervisor, where she was tasked to lead, oversee, and supervise the library technicians with the Guam Public Library System. Whereas Mrs. Kennemer's passion for reading and doing research on Guam and the Pacific Islands made her a natural choice to be of service at the Guam Public Library System, and it inspired her to work with her team to look for new ways to improve the library services in the areas of circulation, reference, technical processing, archival, and preservation. And Mrs. Kennemer's quest to put the needs of patrons first and improving library services was perpetuated along with her team and shared in the success of the library and its literacy programs. Mrs. Teresita L.G. Kennemer retired from Government of Guam service on August 31st, 2019, and after 31 years of outstanding contributions and exemplary service to our beautiful island, the people of Guam, and our great nation, take this opportunity to recognize Mrs. Teresita L.G. Kennemer for her dedication to the Guam Public Library System while serving as library technician supervisor. Commend her for her effective leadership and her many distinctive contributions, and congratulate her on the occasion of her retirement.
Whereas, with the retirement of Ms. Teresita L.G. Kennemer, the Guam Public Library System and the people of Guam are thankful for the services of a very dedicated and committed professional within the public library system. And she will be dearly missed by her many colleagues and co-workers for all the many important and meaningful contributions she has made. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Committee on Rules of Administrenta Cinco na Legislatura en Guahan, does hereby, on behalf of Legislatura en Guahan and the people of Guam, recognize Mrs. Teresita L.G. Kennemer on the occasion of her retirement from the Guam Public Library System, and to commend her for the 31 years of service to the island community. And be it further,
Be it further resolved that the Speaker and the Chairperson of the Committee on Rules does hereby certify, and the Legislative Secretary hereby attests to, the adoption hereof, and that copies of the same be thereafter transmitted to Mrs. Teresita Leon Guerrero Kennemer and her family, and to the Honorable Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero, Imagahagan, Guahan. Mrs. Kennemer, if you would please come forward to receive your recognition. much bigger than a certificate. Please come on over, and then we'll take a. Okay, we'll take a quick picture. And we'll let you speak after the. We'll let them speak after the next. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and move on to the next recipient, and then we'll have both of you say a few remarks. Would that be okay? That way you're amongst your colleagues and have a sense of comfort when you address the listening audience. Mr. Palomo, this one's for you. This resolution was also introduced by myself and Senator Taitagui, Senator Luis Borja Muña, Senator James Kamatsumoilan, and endorsed by every member of the 35th Guam Legislature. It's relative to recognizing you, Mr. Victor C. Palomo, on the occasion of your retirement from the Guam Public Library School System, and commending you for your contributions and service to the island community and the United States Armed Forces. Be it resolved.
I know you personally, Victor, so this gives me a great honor to be here to read this. Be it resolved by the Committee on Rules of Minatrenta ni Cinco na Legislatura en Guahan, whereas Mr. Victor C. Palomo was born and raised in the village of Inalahan. He is married to Maria R.C. Palomo, and they have 4 children and 4 grandchildren. And whereas Victor C. Palomo attended John F. Kennedy High School and graduated in 1972, and in 1996, he began his public service career with the Guam Public Library System, originally working as a custodian where he had a keen attention to detail. And in 2005, he became the driver for the library's bookmobile. And whereas Mr. Palomo demonstrated great passion in his work and went above and beyond in his assigned duties, and many outstanding contributions during this time serving the Guam Public School Library. In this role as a custodian, Mr. Palomo was responsible for the general maintenance of the Guam Public Library System, and he was exceptional, and he was assisted his fellow co-workers in ensuring the safety of all library patrons and the excellent detailed maintenance of the bookmobile. And whereas Mr. Palomo further embodied the qualities of hard work and perseverance during his time as the Guam Public Library System's bookmobile driver, in which he was responsible for safety, transporting himself and the library technicians to the many different scheduled routes of the bookmobile, and ensuring that the bookmobile was safe, properly maintained, and operational. And whereas
Mr. Palomo always placed the needs of the patrons of the Guam Public Library System first, most especially the children who always look forward to the bookmobile's visits at its regularly scheduled routes, or the special visits to the Guam's public schools and daycares. And Mr. Palomo, also a veteran of the United States Armed Forces, where he had honorably served his great island and nation with many distinctive contributions for over 20 years. And with the retirement of Mr. Victor C. Palomo, the Guam Public Library System and the people of Guam are eternally grateful for the services of one of our most dedicated and committed professionals within the Guam Public Library System. And he will be greatly missed by his many colleagues and coworkers for his many invaluable and meaningful contributions. Now, therefore, be it that the Committee on Rules of Minatrenta na Legislatura en Guahan does hereby, on behalf of the Legislatura en Guahan and the people of Guam, recognize Mr. Victor C. Palomo on the occasion of his retirement from the Guam Public Library System and commend him for his contributions and service to the island community and the United States Armed Forces. And be it further,
resolved that the Speaker and the Chairperson of the Committee on Rules hereby certify and the Legislative Secretary attests to the adoption hereof and the copies of the same be thereafter transmitted to Senor Victor Palomo and the family and to the Honorable Lourdes A. Leon Guerrero y Magahagan Guahan. Senor Palomo, if you would come forth, si dus masi puri sa bishon mo. Have a round of applause. middle. Go in the middle. Yeah. And then you look that way. Oh, slide some more that way.
This way?
Yeah. And before everybody leaves, this is probably the most touching and humbling part of the presentation. Certainly after 3 decades of service, they have a few things to share with us. And so we'll start with Ms. Kennemer, if you would say a few words in acknowledgement of your retirement.
What am I going to say? I just want to say thank you so much to the Guam Public Library system. You guys made it. Actually, you guys were the ones that made it happen. I am just right behind you, pushing you and all that stuff, but you guys were the ones that made that a reality. Thank you so much. And Victor, the library is going to miss the bookmobile driver. You're one heck of a bookmobile driver. Bye. Thank you so much.
Mr. Palomo, if you would say a few words.
First of all, I really come prepared. I don't know what to say, but the best way to start with this is, since the new bookmobiles will be open, I hope the person continue my legacy, everybody's legacy, to keep the community safe and sound. Thank you.